Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Kenya Revolutionary for another quick session. This is breaking news, but it's not breaking to some of you, because you already know what's up. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Maandamano is back. It's scheduled. The posters are out. June 9th, 2025. That's this coming Tuesday. 9th is coming Tuesday, okay? Which is tomorrow. It's already Monday if you're in Kenya, okay? Or almost thereabouts, okay? So June 9th, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we are going back to the streets. This death of Albert Ojwang this is that precipitating factor that people, everyone in every quarter is saying enough is enough. Gen Zs, non-Gen Zs, enough is enough. We cannot have a government that has a police force, but using a police force to murder its citizens in such a way. And to even make matters worse, in a clear case of murder, actually, they're telling us that it's actually suicide. How can you abduct somebody from Migori, take him all the way to the police station, central station in Nairobi, then he suddenly dies in custody? If he was suicidal, why didn't he die wherever he was in Migori? Why did he die when he was at your custody? Okay, so this is what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Maandamano, June 9th. That's on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. And I also saw some other people are also planning for Thursday, Maandamano. All cities from Nairobi, Kisumu, Eldoret, everywhere else. We are going back to Maandamano. This is totally unacceptable. This is what this death of this young man, somebody who his only crime was to expose the Deputy Inspector General of the police, Mr. Lagat, whatever his name. I think his name is Eliud Lagat or something like that. I don't even care about his name. But this is, Kenyans are reaching that breaking point. Now, what is interesting enough, which deserves to be addressed, is the loud silence by the ODM faction of this political aisle. Okay, even the politicians themselves. Okay, I could see some people have posted and have what is his name? Otiende Amolo has posted just an hour ago, talking about how unfortunate this thing is, of course. But what I want to emphasize is this: it is very interesting how, let me direct this to Raila Odinga, who has always fashioned himself as the champion of the common wananchi, okay? Mtetezi wa wanyonge, the so-called opposition, the so-called kingpin of Nyanza province. Here it is, the son of Nyanza province has died in the hands of the police, and he hasn't even made a statement regarding the death of this guy. He hasn't even condemned the police about the death of this young man. He hasn't even issued a statement regarding the death of this guy, okay? Where is Raila Odinga? Why hasn't he spoken yet? I want to hear Junette, okay? I want to hear Junette speak about this and, chastise the government that is in place, okay, about the murder of this guy who died. What about the people of Migori, where this guy comes from? I want to hear what's the Homa Bay governor, Gladys Wanga. Where is she? These nincompoops, okay, that always make loud noises and claiming that Nyanza province is in their palm, the Luo Nyanza part of it. Where are their voices? It's been hours since this young man has been reported dead. We've heard the news clips. We've seen the sorrowful tears from this young man's dad, okay? Where is Raila Odinga? Not even a statement in his social media handles. Where is Sifuna? These charlatans that always pretend that, oh, if the government does something that is out of bounds, that is illegal, that is not in the interest of the people, they, that being the government, will deserve their opprobrium. Where is the outrage? Where is the outrage, Mr. Sifuna? Raila Odinga, okay? Where are you? I want to hear from you. Where's the public statement? The first thing that you should have done, if you really cared about this young man, you would have been there having a press conference and condoling with this dad who was crying, moved to tears, losing his own son, whose only crime was to expose this corrupt police department that take orders from William Samoei Ruto, who you've entered into a political agreement with, who you're defending, saying that yeye ni mchapakazi. Where is your statement, ODM leaders, so far? It took Otiende Amolo, I don't know how many hours just to come out and say, okay? I'm not saying that ODM are responsible for the death of this young man, but I'm saying this, since they have joined hands with Ruto, and we all know that Ruto is basically controlling the police forces in this country. I want to hear these ODM leaders who are pretending to be speaking up for the people of Luo Nyanza. Here comes a young man who's barely in his 30s, who have lost his lives in the hands of the police. The one thing when you went to NADCO, you told us that one thing in the agenda, you claimed that it was to make sure that the government, through the police force, does not kill the young people, youth, especially after the advent of the death of Rex and other young people who died during Maandamano. Isn't that what you say, Raila Odinga, and you, Sifuna, and all you nitwits, ODM nitwits? Isn't that what you promised? Here it is. It's not just any other son. It's a son, it's a young man who comes from your community, from the counties that you claim you control and rule with an iron fist. When Jacob Were died, the first people who even showed up at the crime scene was Raila's daughter, Edwin Sifuna, and all these representatives who were there to condole, to see what was going on with Were, Ongodo Were, when he died in Nairobi, when he was shot down. You were shedding tears, eulogizing about the great things he has done. Here he is, another young man who you promised when you were entering into that MOU with UDA, saying that never again shall you let this government kill our young people. But here it is, now a young man who was living in Migori, was caught up, hijacked, walimkujia huko Migori, wakamchukua wakampeleka Nairobi, only to kill him at the police station. Again, if it was Ongodo Were, Charles Ongodo Were, you'd be right now, ungekuwa kwa hospitali pale aliuliwa, or hapo kwa police station to ask what's going on. You could have seen the Babu Owinos pretending to be concerned about who killed the MP. You could see Sifuna in the crime scene trying to find out what is going on. When Ongodo was killed, I saw the daughter of Raila Odinga, the Iyala MP, up in the crime scene trying to find out what's going on. They rushed to the hospital to condole with the family members. Who stood beside the father of that young Albert Ojwang? At least the LSK president was there. Where are you, all you leaders of Nyanza province, ODM? Are you going to have enough balls to tell Ruto in his face that this is unacceptable? Are you going to break away from UDA, this government, since they're killing your own? Or are you going to blame Albert Ojwang for criticizing the corrupt police force that killed him? Like the video, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, as we continue, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. But these are the questions. I'm watching how these people are dragging their feet when it comes to the local Mwananchi. If it was a MP or a governor ambao amekufa, ungewaona saizi, ungekuanga kwa ninio hiyo police station, ungekuwa na wananinio wanapiga nduru, shedding crocodile tears, showing concern. Where is your statement, Raila Odinga and you Nyanza leaders? Saizi angeshaita press conference. Junet, ita hiyo press conference yako. Talk about the death of Ninio. Why is the Deputy Inspector General still sitting in his Ninio, in his kitty at this time, knowing very well this is obviously not a suicide? You cannot tell me this guy was suicidal. Kwa nini hakujiua vile alikuwa kwa Migori? Alikuwa huko Migori. It took him, nyinyi mkimchukua, this police forces walimtoa huko Migori wakampeleka Nairobi ndio akakufia huko. Kwani alisema anataka kukufa Nairobi? Did he have any plans of going to Nairobi? Sinama polisi ndio walikuja wakamchukua. Where is your outrage, ODM? Kasmuel with your fake suits, you empty suit, pinhead. Where are you with your intermediate level college English? Come out. Look, search for the dictionary. Describe what happened here, since you're the youth, member of the youth of the ODM. Here is member, a youth, a Gen Z. Well, he's technically not a Gen Z, but a Gen Z nevertheless, politically speaking, whose only crime was to criticize the DIG, coming from the counties that your political party dominates. Are we going to see you on Spice FM on Monday, defending the police for killing Albert Ojwang? Why didn't you call for an emergency press conference? Where are you when they need you the most? Don't talk to us about compensation. They want justice. We don't want compensation. Raila, we know you don't care about compensation. Watu ambao walikufa 2007 wakina Baby Pendo huko. You never called for the compensation until people, the Gen Z, made it an issue. That's when ukajifanya hapo siku ya ninio madaraka that you want compensation. After 2007 vile 2017, after you join Uhuru Kenyatta, and Uhuru Kenyatta killed majority of your supporters, you never call for this compensation of Baby Pendo or justice for Baby Pendo. After you entered into an agreement with Uhuru Kenyatta, and now we are telling you this: the father of Albert Ojwang does not need compensation. He needs his son back. And if he can't get his son back because he is dead, at least he deserves justice to know who killed his son. The only way to get closure into this case is to find out who actually is responsible for killing killing his son. That's the least you can do for him. You don't have to wait for the Gen Zs to go to the streets on Tuesday, so you can also pretend that you care. That's why I'm bringing up the example of when Ongodo Were was shot. You are the first one in the scene. The daughter of Raila Odinga was in the scene. Sifuna and the rest were going to the new hospital to check on him. They're pretending because he's one of them. They were one of them. But here it is, somebody who has been yanked from his house in Migori, taken to Nairobi, killed, and I don't see Babu Owino, I don't see Sifuna, I don't see none of you fake fucks going up there to demand for justice for Albert Ojwang. You're waiting for Gen Zs to go to the streets on Tuesday, ndio tutaona hapo ati mnajifanya ati nyipia mna join Gen Zs, ati sasa mna condole na the family of Ninio, the father of Ninio. This is how you know how fake these people are. Ruto and his government needs to be held accountable. Whether it's that DIG, whatever his name is, like that, Deputy Inspector General, if the order comes from him, he needs to be brought to account and hung to death if that comes down to it. But since you ODM fakers, mumengoja sijui how many hours just to say something. Sasa mmeanza kubabaika, mnaanza kutetemeka. Otiende Amolo anaanza kutetemeka, anaanza kutoa state ninio, anaandika kwa Twitter because he has seen the posters are out. Maandamano ni on Tuesday. In Kisumu, Nairobi, Eldoret, everywhere. Ameona posters zimetoka, wananchi wanataka, wamekasirika, sasa ndio wanataka kudandia, hata pia wanataka kusema pole. Ati sasa wanataka kusimama na wananchi. Nyinyi mpaka mnyongwe. Raila, Otiende Amolo, Babu Owino mpaka nyipia mnyongwe na Ruto na Gachagua. You're going down with him, nyote. Nyote mpaka mnyongwe, nyote. Hamwezi kuua watu hivyo kawa kiunyama hivyo, ni mnafikiri ni jokes. Justice mpaka iletwe Kenya. Justice. If the judiciary has failed and the police wamekataa kuprotect watu basi waanze kujiprotect. Kila mtu anuliwe bunduki. Tuone nani atashinda. There are 50 million Kenyans. Nyinyi mko kadhalika watu 1000. Tuone kama mta survive na hiyo mapesa mko nayo. Saizi wameona posters za Gen Z zimetokea kwa sababu Gen Z wamejam, wamesema this is ridiculous. Mtu ametolewa Migori akapelekwa Nairobi akanyongwa huko kwa ninio, kwa police station. Watu wa ODM wamenyama kimya kwa sababu ati wako kwa serikali. Hawataki kusema kitu kwa sababu wako kwa serikali na wamejua serikali imeua wao kijana. Serikali inatuenjoy ati huyo jamaa amejiua. Wakangoja hawasemi kitu. Sasa hiyo wameona poster majenzi wameweka poster ati wanaenda maandamano on Tuesday. Sasa ndio unaona ati hao pia ati wamesimama ati wanataka kujifanya ati pole, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate matako yako. It will be unfortunate tukiwashika na tuwanyonge, hata tuwachome. Kunyonga is very expensive. Tuwachome to ashes. Vile wanachomanga wa hizi. Tire na ninio na kibuyu. Hakuna kwenda kotini kwa sababu the institutions have failed. The justice system has failed. The justice system failed. Polisi wamefail. Tuwanyonge. Tunawanyonga nyote nyote Otiende Amolo. Na huyo ninio DCI na DC au what DIG, huyo Lagat, sio anaitwa Lagat. Oscar Sudi, Faruk wanyongwe na wachomwe. Hawezi kuua watu ati kwa sababu mtu amesema kitu kwa internet. Hiyo ni maoni yake, na kama na expose mnakula pesa, you shouldn't be eating money. Kama alikuwa amesema uongo, si nimpeleke kotini basi. Sasa si mchezo ya hii sijui one time na mama cousins. Hiyo story tuache ujinga. Sasa hii ni style ya justice. Our political class, they cannot continue na hii upuzi wanafanya. Wanyongwe na wachomwe. This time tukienda parliament, hata wale watu ambao hawajiwezi, wali Kilemba naona, last time I saw the Kilembas were being helped, walikuwa nakimbilia ambulance. Hao Kilemba wachomwe. If you're a member of parliament, ukipatwa during Occupy Parliament 2025, unanyongwa. I saw the Gen Zs were nice, walibeba tu maji na ninio. This time tukipata hao MP, Ichungwa akipatwa ananyongwa. Babu Owino akijifanya tena jitoka tena anajoin ninio Gen Z, anyongwe. Sifuna kijifanya ati yeye sijui don't need to anyongwe. Wacha tufike kwa hiyo parliament, hata hao masniper kikuwa huko tuwapate huko juu tuwanyonge. Na hiyo bunge ichomwe. Nothing is happening, nothing is working. The system in a fall. The system ya Kenya imeisha. Hakuna system, amheshimu ninio. You're not respecting the constitution. So why should the people respect the constitution if you're not following the constitution? Kazi ni kujifanya na hizi mchezo za one time na sijui my cousins and the tribal nonsense. While the system is not working for the people. Now IBC ambao wamechaguliwa pia wachomwe na wanyongwe. Tuchome hiyo system yote. Si nimekataa. It's either we have a rule of law na mna respect maisha ya binadamu na maoni ya watu, or we don't. There's no in between. Mchezo wa conmanship imeisha. Imeisha. Otiende Molo, hizo pole zako enda kamwambie bibi yako pole for marrying you. Usikuje kutuambia pole hapa. Kesho utaona Raila Odinga, utaona kesho atajifanya anatoa statement kwa sababu ameona nini Gen Z wameanza kusema ati wanaenda kwa nini. Utamwona I want to make a Walwelongodo aliuliwa mara moja, wako huko. No, hii mchezo iishe. Hii mchezo iishe. This is unacceptable. Anyway, this was an emergency live that I wanted to ninio, just to speak on this. Our politicians, enough of this game. Now me, I'm not sparing anyone. This is not only ODM, the whole political class. All of it. While hao wanacheza mchezo wa sijui ati one time my cousins sijui nini na Bantu sijui Nilo sijui nini. We the people, vijana sisi vijana, wakina Rex, Albert Ojwang na wengine weo, walikuwa wanauliwa wakisema kitu ama wakiprotest. Gachagua na kutukana kila siku, sinu mnyonge. Kwa nini umnyonge? Kwa sababu mko club moja. So tuache mchezo bwana. Lakini wananchi wakiongea ati mnawakujia mnawanyonga. Ni wakati wa kuwanyonga. Oscar Sudi, wewe unafaa kunyongwa, wewe number 1. Wewe na Murkomen. Na hiyo tumbo yako, kichwa kaya. Anyway, I'll leave it here. I won't stay here for long. This was an emergency neo. But I'm glad Maandamano imebaki. And this time hii Maandamano, hawa kina Hanifa hawa kina Boniface Mwangi wakae nyumbani, kwa sababu hawa pia wanafaa kunyongwa. Wakae nyumbani. Ile mchezo mlikuwa mnacheza huko na Sumia, msilete hii Maandamano. Mkae nyumbani muangalie kwa TV. Mwende mkasumbuane na nani Sumia huko. Hii mchezo hatutaki. This time Ruto atatoka mpaka resign. Unaona Togo vile mama yenu inaendelea Togo. Togo alisema mpaka president resign. This is what we want. Hii tukirudi nini Maandamano hii? Ruto mpaka toke. Mpaka. Anyway, I'll leave it here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Francis Irungu, Gypsy, Shi Mariam, Chief Negus kama kawaida, Abu Kinyanjui, and everybody else who Chief Negus kama kawaida. I'll just leave it here. Ile asira niko nayo saa hizi, wacha nikunywe tu maji nitulize kidogo. Kwa sababu the hypocrisy I see with these leaders. Sasa ingekuwa sijui nani, Sifuna amekufa, ungewaona wamesharuka huko, wameingia kwa hospitali. Wamesimama huko na bibi ya Sifuna na mama ya Sifuna wakikondol na yeye. Lakini huyu kijana ameuliwa hapa Albert Ojwang, hakuna mtu watu wa ODM waongei kwa sababu wako serikali, na serikali ndio imeua huyu mtoto. Anyway, I'll leave it here, ladies and gentlemen. Musubscribe hapo na share, like, na mupasi tag nani, tag Raila Odinga, tag nani, Sifuna, tag Babu Owino, tag nani, everybody. Hao jinga wengine ambao wanajifanyanga wanasiasa na hiyo jinga yao. Wajue wa Kenya, hii mchezo tuache bwana. Kenya must be free. Tag all of those people on X, waonyeshe hii video. Tag them. Na mzidi kusubscribe. On Tuesday tuko maandamano kamili. Tuesday na Thursday tumeanza mpaka Ruto, this time Ruto mpaka ondoke. But anyway guys, I'll leave it here. Peace and blessings. Thank you so much everyone. Green pia asante sana for, sorry unaingia kuchelewa lakini I'm wrapping it up. Anyway guys, if you're going to watch this on repeat, please like, share, subscribe, do all the good stuff. I'll talk to you guys later. Ama namna gani? All right. Peace and blessings.